Hello, everyone. I am Duan from Cornell University. I'm going to present some preliminary findings on intercultural humor. Humor is a great social skill. Making people laugh and laughing at other people's joke makes a person amiable. In teams where members feel free to joke with one another, it often suggests team cohesiveness and solidarity. In multilingual teams, however, humor might not be easily shared by members of different cultural and language backgrounds. As we know, a majority of humor hinges on certain cultural references that are encoded for the audience to decode in order to achieve a humorous effect. For non-native speakers who do not have adequate cultural or linguistic knowledge, decoding native humor can be challenging. Our study sought to identify the common sources of confusion and challenges regarding intercultural humor encountered by non-native speakers in multilingual teams. And we proposed potential solutions to address these challenges. So we took a grounded theory approach in both data collection and analysis. We interviewed 28 people from East Asian countries who were at the time studying or working at Cornell. They were asked about their experience with humor in different settings, including various types of meetings. We stopped data collection until our themes were saturated. We categorized the sources of confusion into language-related, culture-related, and that related to both culture and language. Please refer to our paper for some sample quotes for each category. And what's the most interesting in our findings is this potential misalignment of common ground assumption between native and non-native speakers. The non-native speakers we interviewed believe that native speakers in the US assume them to know the reference required to get their humor. As this quote illustrates, I think native speakers are assuming that listeners have the same cultural background as the speaker. But the problem is sometimes they don't. So for people like me, maybe their humor may not be that effective as they might imagine. They're just naively assuming that we're at the same level as him or her. The potential misalignment comes in when non-native speakers assume that all native speakers would know the reference required to get the humor, even though this may not be true. But this assumption had emotional and interpersonal consequences. Non-native speakers didn't want to feel dumb or not sociable or not funny. They want to be just as intellectually and socially competent as native speakers. So they tried to match up to what they think every native speaker knows and try to be an equal participant in humor. As this person admitted, you think everybody knows about this. You don't want to be perceived as dumb. If everyone around you knows Earth and you ask them what is Earth, and that would be a really stupid question. You have this peer pressure to feel included. So you pretend to laugh, to feel like you're intellectually on the same level with everyone else. Non-native speakers would feel more stressed and more embarrassed if they believe the reference required to get the humor is common knowledge, and knowledge that's been around for a long time versus knowledge that's more niche or emerging. For example, this person said, for new emerging slang, it's new for everybody. There will be Americans who also don't understand. Then it would feel less embarrassed for me to not get it. But sometimes there's no way for me to know if it's new or it's been used for a long time. So the problem is they're not able to tell if certain knowledge is common versus niche or longstanding versus emerging. To better support their humor experience, we developed this diagram mapping out different types of knowledge that affect non-native speakers' perceived importance of knowing. These types of knowledge lie along two correlated dimensions based on non-native speakers' assumptions about how common the knowledge is among native speakers and the diffusion of knowledge with time. The larger the area is, the more non-native speakers would assume the knowledge to be well known and well established, the greater the perceived importance of knowing, and in turn, the more negative the consequence of not knowing it. So how technology can help? We propose that developing a cultural reference index through crowdsourcing might address this misalignment between native and non-native speakers for more fluid humor interaction. For instance, search engines or systems can generate an index of all the cultural references based on frequency of lookups by non-native speakers. This index can be integrated into a conversation agent to flag potential lack of understanding in real time to the native speakers, or a personal agent for non-native speakers that discreetly provides information about cultural references. That's all about my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.